Hi, everybody. How are you?
What's up, everybody? All right, we're going to get started here. We're a couple minutes early, but I thought we would get in a little bit and help everybody get settled. So,
We just want to make sure everybody can see us and hear
hear
us.
us.
So, could somebody or a couple people or everybody just send a comment and let us know that you can see us and
Thumbs
that you
up.
can hear us?
Thumbs down.
Right.
I don't know.
Sad face, smiley
Maybe
face. Just send it in the chat.
something. All right.
So, we'll just wait for a moment for everyone to join and let us know. And if not, we will make our adjustments accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Let me go check the other side and see the back part of the stage.
Okay.
Let me see.
Can you send me a chat and let me know if you can see me and hear me?
Let's see here. Hey, I can hear you.
Cool. Can you send me a chat so I can make sure my chat system is working
I can
correctly?
chat to you too.
All right. Chat. That's what you're going to send me. Chat.
Chat.
see if you can chat to Mama and see if she can see us. There she is. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining us. And we're in sunny Florida. We have the AC on. I'm sure you don't. Thanks for joining us. We'll get started in just like 2 minutes. Just want to make sure everybody can get on and that they can hear us okay. We are super newbies to teaching the virtual paint classes. And so we're trying some new things all the time and want to make sure that they work so people have the best possible experience. And so that as we're painting, everyone's able to see and hear me a lot better than we were before. So we made some changes from before. So I'm honestly, Kim, really just looking for my mommy to see if she can get her weight on. Hi, everyone. Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining. You could sketch him. You can go ahead and sketch him while we're waiting. I sketched mine so that I didn't have to do it in front of everybody, but you can go ahead and sketch it. Some people will have and some people won't. And some people are going to do it freehand. So do you have him printed out to sketch him? Did you have the pattern? Were you able to see the pattern, Kim? Some people are excellent at doing it freehand. Usually when I'm painting myself, I do usually do it freehand, but when I'm teaching, I try to just show people how they can do the pattern. So let me know if you have the pattern. If not, it's on the Facebook Live. It's on the Facebook Paint and Chill photos. You could print it out and do it. The pattern, actually, that's a good point. I probably should have put a note in there about that. I couldn't get the full pattern on one piece of paper, so it's actually two. It's actually two, so there was one that looked like this, and then the top part of it was separate. So when I did it, I just kind of put them together like that and traced them on there like that. If you want to grab it and do it, we're just waiting for just a couple more people to join, and I'm trying to figure out why my mommy can't get on.
She's on. Just looking for sound.
Oh, okay. All right, for everyone that's just joining us, the pattern, I did ask everybody to go ahead and paint the background a light blue. And the reason I'd go ahead and have people do that ahead of time is because some people are speed painters with their background, like me. I'm just kind of like, and just slam the paint on there. And some people are super meticulous when they're painting the background. And I don't want those people to feel pressured to make sure the background is perfect. The background doesn't necessarily have to be perfect because you're usually in most of, especially during the winter time, the paintings that we do, we have a lot of snow and other things in the background. So the background doesn't have to be perfect because we're covering it up with snow anyway. So I do ask people, to go ahead and do the background first. And then if you're able to see the pattern and trace the pattern, do that. If not, you can cut out the pattern. You can just print him and then cut around him and then put him on the canvas, and you can trace it with a pencil lightly around it because you're going to be painting over it anyway. You can do that. Or like I said, some people are super awesome at freehanding, and so you could do that. The thing is with Baby Reindeer and with our penguin guy that we did, and with our elf and our Yeti guy we're getting ready to do is they're not real, and so we can make them fun and make them look any way that we want to make them look. So they don't need to be perfect or perfectly traced. All right, so was Mama able to get on in here?
She's just trying to figure her sound out, but she'll get it.
Okay, she may have her sound on her computer. Tell her she can turn that up. Yeah. All right, and I see Laura came on and she's all set. And Kim, do you want to go? Hello. All right, so we're just going to wait just a little bit while other people are joining us and getting the pattern on there. For those of you who joined us the last time, but it's not on my personal page, or who don't know that Nick, who pops in as my dun, 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 drum roll, it's my partner in crime, my partner in everything. And the other evening we had our anniversary, and he surprised me with this. Isn't it to die for?
What is it?
It's an engagement ring, and he asked me to marry him. So we're super excited, overly excited. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you think Mama's got her sound figured out, if you're having an issue with the sound, it might be that you have your sound turned down on your phone if you're using your phone, or on your computer if you're using your computer. So we just want to make sure everybody's able to hear before we get started. Otherwise, we'll just chat back and forth. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, so what are we doing first? What's the plan?
The plan is I did ask to have the background painted the light blue first, and then if you have the pattern, as I was mentioning, as Kim and I were talking about, the pattern actually came in 2 pieces because I couldn't get the full reindeer on one. And so if you just kind of lay them on top of each other like that, they make the one reindeer, and you can cut him out and trace around him on the on your canvas. Or if you have graphite paper, you can put the graphite paper with the black side, the shiny side down like that, and that's how I did it. And then you just lay the pattern on top of it. And I actually usually just use a wooden skewer to trace around the outside. You don't necessarily have to trace all of the little details the first time, like his eyes and his nose and everything, because you're going to paint over top of that. And so I went ahead and did that ahead of time, just so you guys wouldn't have to watch me do that. I usually use the skewer, not a pencil or a pen, because it's nice to keep your patterns. And if you use a pen or pencil, it's going to go through the pattern itself and make it a little bit harder to keep and store in the future. But I keep mine, and I store them in, I'll just store them in a little sheet protector thing, so that next year when I'm ready to do them, or if if somebody wants to borrow him, they have him. After tonight, this video will be actually on Facebook. So if you want, sometimes people with the lives, they just watch for a little while and then they go back the next day or the next week, and then they do it with the video so they can slow it down and just kind of do it step by step that way. So if you want to join in and paint at the same time, do that. If you just want to watch for a while and do that, and then go back and watch the live, that's perfectly fine to do. But yeah, I usually just use a wooden skewer to trace around, and also the wooden skewer is awesome because I keep forgetting to shut the tops of my paint. And then I can use this to kind of like stick it down in the hole to get it unclogged, because that's what will happen if you don't shut your paint. So we will go ahead and get started. So I went ahead and got him all set ahead of time. I usually have all of my colors out ahead of time. I chose a couple of different colors and paints. For this particular one, I'm probably mostly going to use just the fatter brush. He's a 3/4 inch. He's nice and fat. I'm probably just going to use that a lot. And I usually paint in a certain order. Everybody paints differently, obviously, and however you want to do it is absolutely fine. But for me, I'm a super messy painter. I end up with it all over me. I'll end up with it on my arms, and whatever I'm painting, there'll end up being paint everywhere. And if I paint the bottom part of the painting first, then as I'm painting, I'll smear it up towards the top. So part of the reason that I paint things in the order I'm painting them is just because I'm messy. You might want to paint it in a different order whenever you go to paint it. So what we're going to do first is go ahead and start at the top, which is the farthest away from me, so least likely that I'm going to smear it across the rest of the canvas. And then I'm just going to paint the bulbs, the light bulbs and the antlers. I'm going to paint them white. Even the light bulbs, because painting white underneath of it will kind of make it pop off once we do put the color on there. I'm not going to put it on real thick, but just a little bit. And that's another reason we just paint the whole thing white, blue in the beginning, is just to kind of help it pop off of there. So we're not going to need a whole lot of white for that. I'm going to put that about that much on there, mostly because I'm going to mix it with some brown to do his body after that as well. Okay. So we're just going to take the white and then just start filling in his antlers with the white. And keeping in mind that no one has seen baby reindeer or baby reindeer antlers today, if you get out of the shape of the antlers as you're painting, it's no big deal. Since we haven't seen one, we don't actually know what the shape is of the antlers. So we're just going to just fill in the antlers and the bulbs with white. And I haven't, this brush is really nice because it has kind of like the shape. It's the rounded brush. And so it kind of has the shape that's easy to go around. But if you don't have that, that's fine. You could do the whole painting with one brush. Actually, the last class that we did with the snowman and the snow globe, show him the snowman and the snow globe here. The last class that we did, one of the ladies said she hadn't painted in a long time. She couldn't find her brushes at the last minute, and so she actually ended up painting the whole class with makeup brushes, and her picture turned out spectacular. Is Mama on there? Do you want to ask Connor to ask her? I don't see her chatting, that's why. And with your bulbs, you can paint them kind of rounded. The pattern shows them kind of rounded. But if you decide that you want some of those fancy bulbs that have the point at the end, you can just take your brush and kind of press it down. And when you get to the end, pull up on it and just twist it like that. And it'll have a nice little point at the end. It's totally up to you. So if you want a pointy one, just press your brush down, and when you get to the end, lift up, and then just twist it like that. So he's going to have pointy bulbs on one ear and round ones on the other, just so I can kind of show you what that looks like. And here he's going to have a nice fat one. He's going to have all kinds of different bulbs, just so you can see. Okay. And I have one more bulb up here. They're kind of oval shaped. There, and then I'm going to do his other antler. All right, is everybody able to follow along okay? Can everybody see okay? If you could just send me a chat if you're having any technical difficulties, any questions about why we're doing anything in a certain order. All right, Mama, sounds good. Everybody say hi to my mom, Joy. She's going to watch and paint later. A lot of people do that. Because sometimes by the time I'm done with one step and people have figured it out, then I'm on to the next one. Sorry about that. So if you do need me to slow down, I do tend to be a speed talker and a speed painter. So if you do need me to slow down, please just say so. And thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We miss being able to paint in person with people. It's a little different for us to, painting without people in front of us because we don't get to see their creativity, and people are so creative, and we just love that. I wanted to make his antler just a little bit thicker there. I'm going to make this antler just a little bit thicker too. All right, so we're just putting a base coat down on those antlers and the bulbs just so they'll kind of pop off the page a little bit better. And then for, I left a little bit of white on here because for the body, we're going to mix it in with whatever color you want your reindeer to be. The sample one that we have is, he's a kind of a light tan. Oh, you moved me? Okay. He's kind of a light tan, which I like. And his antlers are a lighter color because it has the wire for the bulbs going through it. And if you had a dark brown, like usually people think that antlers are, then you wouldn't be able to see the wire going through it. But I'm going to highlight those just a little bit, but you can paint him any color you want. If you're, we really encourage creativity. And if your favorite color is purple and you want your baby reindeer to be purple, you are welcome to paint him purple. So I'm just going to mix some kind of tan and brown together. And this brown is actually called Bambi brown. So I kind of thought that was appropriate too. All right, so I'm just going to kind of mix those two colors together. And I'm actually going to change brushes. I'm going to show you guys a couple different brushes and kind of the things that I like to do with them. One of the things I just did was set it in the water cup to keep the water from drying, keep the paint from drying out in it. You really shouldn't do that because it ruins your bristles. But so I'm going to take just kind of what I call double load. If you have two colors together and you put the brush this way and you put half of the brush in one side and half on the other side, that's double loading. And you can see it kind of makes that color. And then if I'm not sure if that's going to be a color I like or if it's going to be too light or too dark for my reindeer, I'm just going to come over here and be like, I kind of actually like that color. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that color. And then I'm just going to start painting around the edges. When you see it kind of dragging like it is like this, you're probably going to want to put just a little bit of water on it. Just barely tip the end in there, and that'll make the paint flow a little bit easy on there. I like that a lot, actually. And then just work it in, paint it, and just kind of get it to the color that you would like for it to be. Like when I'm painting it, to me, this is like a little bit too dark in the middle there, so I'm just going to kind of go back over it. Put a bit more water in there. And Nick is actually the one who painted the reindeer to start with. So when we get done with the initial part of it, he's super good at shading the snow. He's going to jump in there and shade for us, the snow for us. Show us how to do that. And you can see as you add just a little bit of water to it, kind of makes it flow a little bit easier, makes it a smoother color. And so I'm just kind of showing you this so you can see it's okay to experiment and and mix colors and make them the color that you want them. And the good thing about paint is if you did decide that you wanted a purple reindeer and then you decided later, like, you know what, I don't know why it came over me. I don't know why I did that purple. Then you can always go back and change it. Paint goes over paint easily. So if you want to change your mind or if you make a mistake, just wait till it's dry to go back over it. And I'm going to just go up here where at the top of his head, he had like this little poof of hair, which is so cute. So I'm just going to go up like this. And just add some poofs of hair up there like that. Okay. And I did that by just doing just the end of the brush. If you just do just up on the end and go lightly like that, you can see it makes kind of like hair strokes or fur strokes. When I do his ears, I'm going to kind of go in the direction of the ears. Whoop, I didn't go over quite far enough with his little antlers there. There we go. Okay. And so his ear comes off to the side and kind of comes down like that. Okay, just down like that. It looks actually kind of like a bigger bulb. If you're doing this freehand, you'd kind of need an association. So I'm just going to do his ear like this. We're going to highlight his ear or shade his ear later anyway. These are just the first coats we're putting on him. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my brush and do his other little ear, just kind of is hanging down there like that. And just fill in those colors. All right, is everybody keeping up okay? Can I slow down? Is there any questions you have? Just let me know. Mom was she was out creating wreaths today. She makes the most beautiful wreaths. Mom, if you can save your background for when we paint the, oh, that's going to be sideways though. Next, actually tomorrow, we are painting the truck and tree, which I'll show you in just a little bit. Those will make excellent Christmas presents for people. All right, then, so then I'm just going to do his body now. And we're just going to go over the whole body and we're going to go back and do highlights, okay? Even where his collar is, we can go over that because we're going to cover it back up with green anyway. Go all the way down to his little hoofs there. Again, when it starts dragging, you can kind of feel it start dragging across your canvas. Then just put some water on it and then it'll smooth out.
It's sort of like a Monday morning. You feel yourself starting to drag.
Yeah, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Just throw some water on it.
There's some coffee on it.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Looks like a peach.
It doesn't look like a peach. Peaches are orange.
Or it looks like an onion.
He looks like an onion. Great.
Onion.
So if yours looks like an onion, you're in the same shoes as me if it looks like an onion. I kind of like to make for me, I like to make the strokes like that because I picture them with fur, and when you just make the strokes like this, it kind of looks like fur. I like that. You don't have to do yours like that if you don't want to. But I try to paint in the direction of the body part, like these legs are coming out sideways, and then his front legs are coming down like this. So I paint these kind of going down like this because that's the direction that the legs actually are. And then this little part down here is actually his fat little belly down here. And we're going to, once this dries, we're going to go back in and shade, and then that way you'll be able to see that. All right. And then I'm going to go back over the antlers super lightly because I don't want them to be too dark. Super lightly, I'm just going to kind of go around the outside edges of it. First, I'm going to make sure I'm not dragging my hand through any wet paint. So I'm just going to kind of go around like the outside edges of it to give it some depth. There we go. I'm going to give him some fur right here where I missed the little line right there. All right. Can everybody just chat in and let me know? Hi, Sue. I'm so glad you're joining us. She's, I don't think she's going to be able to paint. She's been having some issues with her eyes, which is awful because she's had so much fun painting. Okay. All right. Can everybody just chat in and tell me where you are before we move on to our next step? Now that we kind of laid just the groundwork for our little antlers and body. All right. Okay, I'm going to let this dry a little bit before we go in and do the strings for the lights, and we'll start doing some of the colors. Sometimes the colors, well, we'll do the brown string first and his eyes and everything, but sometimes the colors, especially like the yellows and some of the greens, they take a couple of coats. And so we'll go and do those and then do something else and then go back and do those again. But I'm gonna just use a dark brown, I think. This isn't shaking up very well. Let's see if there's anything in it. I'm going to use a dark brown to do the strings, and then his eyes. I like to try to plan when I'm painting to do all same colors at the same time. And part of the reason I'm doing the string now and then doing the bulbs is because I want to do his big red nose when I do the red bulbs. And I know if I do the red bulbs now, I will drag my hand through it. So, oh, wrong brown. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm just going to do the strings around here. I'm using a super fine, very super fine spotter brush that I just bought and fell in love with. But you could actually use one of the painting pens or a fine tip permanent marker. Black is probably real too stark to use in this particular one, but you could certainly use that if you wanted to. Or if you want your string for your lights to be a different color. The base of the lights is silver, and so if you decided you wanted to use silver for your string, you could do that too, or you could use green or whatever color that you want. The spotter brush is fantastic for small lines, for fine lines, but you do have to, it doesn't hold much paint because it's got tiny little bristles on it. See the tiny little bristles? I always forget which way to move my hand. There you go. See the tiny little bristles? And so it doesn't hold much paint, so you'll just have to paint like an inch and then go back and reload it, and then paint another inch and go back and reload it for the lines to look even. But I love my little spotter brush. Okay, so let's go ahead and get all of our little lines painted here. We'll just go ahead and get these lines painted, and this one comes down through here and around through here. Now tomorrow or later tonight, after you're done painting, after we're all done painting together, I like to paint, and then usually I just end up walking away from my painting, then going back to it and being like, oh, you know what I could have done? So I was thinking one of the things that you could do with these bulbs is you could actually go back and add glitter to them afterwards. tomorrow when it dries, or later tonight, or if you have insomnia like me, get up in the middle of the night and do it. Or you could also um, go back over them with glow in the dark paint. With the glow in the dark, there's a couple different brands of glow in the dark paint, and Nick keeps changing the camera angle with the glow in the dark paint. You can, after it's painted, you can go back and paint whatever you want, glow in the dark. So I thought that'd be kind of cool looking to go back and paint just the bulbs so they kind of glowed in the dark as well. All right, how are you guys making out with your strings for your reindeer lights? Sue, I'll be so glad when you can paint with us again. Tomorrow night we are painting the the truck carrying the Christmas tree. We have patterns for it. It is a $10 class, but it's easier than it looks. I know people have looked at it and been like, there is no way I can do that, but it is step-by-step instruction, and the pattern is provided ahead of time. And if you look at it, it actually really is just a series of shapes. It's just a series of triangles and squares and rectangles. So it's really not that difficult to do. And it also would make an excellent Christmas present for somebody who loves those, because everybody loves them. Okay, I'm done with my strings. So I'm going to rinse my brush out. And the reason I'm rinsing it out, even though I'm getting ready to use it again, is because, especially with these, because they don't hold very much, it's easy for the bristles to get too much paint in them, and then it won't do a fine line. And you don't want it getting down in the ferrule there, in the part where the bristles meet the brush, because if it gets in there, it just gets jammed up in there, and then it changes the shape and the abilities of your tools, your brush. So I try to rinse that off whenever I can. Now I am going to go back and do his eyebrows and his eyes. I am going to use my spotter brush to do his eyebrows and his little cute little mouth, and then we're going to highlight his hooves. I'm going to do those, and again, I'm doing those because I'm already using brown, and so I just want to go ahead and use all the same colors at the same times. Then we'll go back and start on the hooves. So I'm going to give you guys just a minute to catch up. And I'm going to show you the, will you pass me my drink? And then I'm going to show you, while you guys are getting caught up with the, strings, which I know is a little time consuming, I want to show you this painting we're doing tomorrow night. And again, I think I've had people say they're not going to sign up because they're like, there's no way I can do that. But we have the patterns for these. And like I said, if you look, it's just a series of just shapes. This is a square. These are rectangles. The truck is really one long rectangle with a square on top of it. And all the trees, of course, are triangles. We have all the patterns. I hope you guys can join us. The class is listed on our Facebook site. And then some of the other fun ones we're getting ready to do is this adorable guy. Didn't he turn out so cute? There's a live video of Nick. There's a video of Nick painting him with the time lapse that's to die for. So I hope you guys can join us for some of the other classes. We really, really love painting with people and seeing the projects that they send back. We try to do one free one a week and usually one paid one a week. That's usually only $10. So we hope you guys can join us more often because we really, really enjoy it. So I'm going to paint his little eyebrows on. If you want, if you have the pattern, you could actually put the graphite paper, the carbon paper, and the pattern back on to do his eyes and his little mouth, or you can just kind of freehand it. I'm going to try to freehand it.
Oh, God.
I know. Keeping in mind that Nick did this pattern to start with, not me. So I'm just going to load my brush, and to keep a nice tip on it, if you just put the tip of it in the paint and roll it. All right. And his eyebrows, if you're going to just freehand it, his eyebrows are kind of like even with the top of his ears there. And so, and they're kind of like right here in front of his antlers. All right. So I'm going to put his one little eyebrow here. Like that. And another little eyebrow here, like this. And then I'm going to rinse my brush so that I get the paint off of it. And I'm going to do his mouth and then go back and do his eyes. So again, I'm going to take the edge of the brush and roll it in the paint like that. His mouth is adorable. It kind of starts in the middle of his head here if you're freehanding it. And it's just a little smile up like this. And then another little half comma like that. Okay. All right. So you can see. Let me put it the other way. There we go. That's what he looks like with his little finished mouth. Juggle him a couple of times. And then we're going to do, let's paint his hooves since we have the brown out. And then we'll go back up and do the different bulbs and do his collar. Okay. Always wet my brush and then just get the excess water off of it. Press it into a paper towel. And then we're just going to load the brush. If you load the brush, put just the tips of it in the paint like that, each side, then do it like this. It kind of gives you a nice sharp edge on the brush, kind of like sharpening a pencil. All right, so let's look at the hooves. And they just kind of go straight across here. And then they got the little triangle here. So see if you can paint this triangle here, then you can paint the trees. And again, he has a hoof here. Here's his other little hoof. I made this one just a little rounded like that. And then it's just triangles. All right, and his other little leg, it looks like he fell flat on his belly, doesn't it? And I hope you guys will all send us, because since we can't see your pictures, I hope you'll all send us on Facebook, send us your final reindeers, because that's one thing that just keeps us going, is just seeing everybody else's, how they make it their own. It just means the world to us. All right, I'm going to do his eyes. And you can get, like I said, you can use your pattern and put it back on the, you can put it back on his face if you want to, or you can freehand it. I am going to attempt to freehand it with my rounded brush. I like the darker brown. I'm going to use the darker brown. This is light cinnamon. It's a pretty color. Get out of there. That's what happens right there whenever you don't close your paint up like you're supposed to. All right, so I'm just going to load that up. And then his eyes kind of come down a little sideways. And they're rounded at the bottom. If you want, if you're not sure how your eyes are going to turn out, you can always do it on your palette, on your paper plate first. Okay, and then his other eye kind of goes down like that. There we go. I'm going to make this one a little more round. All right, now we got to let these dry and we'll start working on the colors on our bulbs. All right, where is everyone at? Is everyone caught up so far? All right, good. Okay, perfect. All right, so the first color I'm going to do is green, and the reason I'm doing the green next for the bulbs is because his collar is green. And I want to be able to put his collar on there and let it dry, because then we're going to do yellow, and it has little yellow dots on there. So we're just kind of, that's kind of my reason for doing things in the order that I do them. So I'm just going to put some holiday green. This is a nice bright holiday green color. It is from Craft Smart, and so it's a little bit thinner of a paint. And so sometimes with those, just like with nail polish colors actually, or actually eyeshadow as well, it takes a while, it takes a couple of coats for it to actually show on there. All right. So Mama is watching as she's going to watch and then actually paint tomorrow. So she's eating popcorn while she's watching. Isn't that mean? Knowing that we can't eat popcorn and talk at the same time. All right, so we're just going to paint. Now, again, with the bulbs, you can paint them any color you want to. Same thing with his collar. You can paint them any color that you want to. If you want all of yours to be pink and purple, then make them all pink and purple. I have a couple of friends that purple is their favorite color, and so they paint everything purple. And if that's what you want to do, then make yours that color. Now, this is one of the bulbs that I decided was going to have the pointed end. Went down too far on that. So again, no matter what brush I'm using, if I get to the end, I can just twist it sideways for that point. And this particular green is a little bit of a lighter, a thinner green. And so it does look like it's going to take 2 coats, and that's absolutely fine because we'll let that dry and we'll come back to it. And then we're going to put a collar around him. I'm going to use green. You can use purple, gray, black, whatever your favorite color is. So I'm just going under his neck here, going across here, and giving him a green collar. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to rinse out my green brush, or rinse the green out. Mama said that truck is so cute. I got to put my antlers over here out of my way. And try my brush real good. And then, and always make sure that your paints and your water are whatever side you're painting on. So I'm right-handed, so I paint, I try to keep everything on my right-hand side, because if I put my water on my left, when I rinse it and drag it across, I'm going to drop dots on here because I'm a messy painter. Like I just dropped water on here, even though my water is on the right-hand side. Could you pass me a drink, some of my water? Okay, and thank you. And so we're going to actually do the red next. We're going to do the red bulbs, and then we're going to do the red nose. If you want to trace the nose back on with the tracing paper and the pattern, you can do that, or you can freehand it. If you're using red Solo cups for your drinks and for your water, just make sure that you don't drink your paint water, because that's not very tasty. Let's see. All right, so we're going to use red. I love this bright red by, well, Delta Ceramcoat is like the best brand as far as paint goes. They usually have nice thick paints and true colors, and I like theirs a lot. So I love this bright red. It's just such a rich looking color. So I'm just going to put some of that on here for the two red bulbs that we're going to do and his red nose. And then after that, I'm going to try not to drag my hand through his red nose. Wish me luck with that. So we're going to paint this bulb up here was red. Pretty, pretty color, isn't it? All right, how's everybody doing? Kim, how are you doing? Is yours coming along good? Do you need any help? And Laura? Okay, just let me know. Okay, what a pretty color red. So I'm going to paint his big old red nose here. And if you're free-handing it like I am, you can see it kind of, you can see in, give you a close-up, it kind of starts on one side of his eye. It is a beautiful red, isn't it? Kind of starts on one side of his eyes and goes to the other side. And it just looks like a big old bean. So that kind of gives you like a little bit of idea of where it lays on the face itself. Okay. Now the real trick for me will be after this, not to constantly drag my hand through it. And pretty. All right, so the red looks like it covered pretty good there. We are going to go back and put like a little highlight on his nose to make it stand out just a little bit better after it dries just a little bit. Okay. My red on my bulb's is almost dry, so I can go put another coat of red on it. And another coat of red on it. And then I'm going to rinse my brush, dry it, leave it flat so that the water doesn't roll up into the ferrule and separate the bristles. And then we're going to do the yellow. Let me dry my brush off really good. And we'll do yellow. This is a really nice, even though this is folk art, it's called Daffodil Yellow. And I think it's just such a rich looking yellow. Nice and thick. And we're going to paint our other bulbs yellow. I have to look to make sure I'm not setting my arm down on anything. And this is a nice color yellow when you are doing bulbs or when you're doing candles. Like we did the star on the trough, and then we did the yellow on the, oh, can you see it? They can't see it. Can you show them the yellow there? It's a nice bright yellow for candlelight or for lights. And when we did the star on the tree, it just really looks like it truly is glowing. So I really like it for that. Okay, you can switch it back now. And these are the bulbs on this side that I decided I wanted to twist to for you. So you can see it. So again, we go and then just twist up on the edge and up on the edge. And you have a nice pointed edge there. Okay, I'm going to rinse the yellow out. I'm going to go ahead and put there's actually 3 yellow dots on his collar. So I'm going to go ahead and put the yellow dots on there while I'm working with yellow. And what I use for dots usually is the end of the paintbrush, but I always make sure the end of the paintbrush is going to make nice dots. When I look at the end of paintbrushes like these, they're nice and rounded. You can actually feel them. They're nice and rounded. But one of my other favorite brushes that I use, it has a flat end. It's kind of jagged. I actually don't know what happened to it, but it's flat. And so I know that it's not going to make a nice dot. So I wouldn't use that. But usually for dots, I just use the end of one of my paintbrushes. And the important thing with dots, if you want them to look like they're all the same size, whether you're doing eyes or you're doing snowflakes or whatever you're doing, you always want to make sure that you put the end of the brush in the paint and then back on the canvas and then in the paint and on the canvas, and that will help to make sure that the dots are the same size. And if you want to practice, again, I always like to practice on my canvas, make sure that I didn't stick it in something else or that it's going to make a nice dot for me. So put in the paint, and then on his collar, I start in the middle because that way I have half a chance of making sure that it's actually evened out. Sue, when are you going to be able to paint with us again? We miss you. So we have our 3 yellow dots on there. I'm going to use silver for the base of the lights, but at this point when I'm looking at my green, my green that I chose, partially because of the brand, is super thin. It didn't cover very well here. I'm fine with it on the collar, but here it didn't cover all that great. So I'm actually going to give my green another coat. Elf on the Shelf. That's such a good idea. Sue said we should paint Elf on the Shelf. That is such a good idea. We can do that. When can you paint with us to do it, though? I know you were having some problems with your eyes. That is such a good idea. They are so cute. And everybody could paint it differently, too. Like put it in a different location, just like the elf. Just like when you're using the elf. This is such a pretty color, but it doesn't cover very well, does it? Mm-mm. Whoa, I thought I put my hand in my red. Paranoid about that.
I had to put 3 coats on my green.
With the green?
So to cover that blue.
Yeah. I'm just going to have to get a ceramic coat. I mean, we have thicker greens, but this is just such a nice holiday color. All right, we're going to go with that. All right, so I actually have a metallic silver that I'm going to use for the base of the lights, but you can use any color that you want. If you want to use the brown, you can, put another color through it, but I actually happen to have the silver, so we're going to do that. It doesn't take very much, so I'm just not going to put a whole lot on the plate. The silver is a pretty color. It's kind of thin too, but that's okay in this instance. I'm just going to use my little brush here and go in, making sure I don't drag my hand through anything that's already painted. That's kind of cool, right? Every time I paint something, I do it differently. So then when I do it differently, then I'll stand back and look like, hey, actually, that's pretty cool. All right, avoiding the red at all cost. And again, I'm going in the direction that the base of the bulb actually would go in. All right, did I get all of them? Looks like it. That's probably going to need another coat, but I'm fine with that. Okay. There we go. Clean my brush really good. So at this point, before I go any further, I do kind of just like to stand back and just look while I still have fresh paint on here and see if there's any edges that I want to make any sharper. Um, because I like nice sharp edges. So when I'm looking at this red, thank you, Sue. We really look forward to it. So when I was looking at the red, I can see that it could have used a sharper edge there, maybe a little bit here. So while everybody catches up just a little bit, yeah, thank you. They did turn out neat. While everybody catches up, I'm just going to kind of look at mine and critique it a little bit and see where I need to sharpen any edges on it, or if there's anything that needs another coat on it. And then we're going to go in and highlight his ears and his little legs here. And so it's your opportunity too to look at your reindeer and see, do you want him to have a fatter face? So mine kind of his face is a little skinny compared to if you look at Nick's that he painted. He's got a little fatter face on his, and his is a little bit lighter. So if it's your chance, right now to kind of go back in and look and see, hey, do I want to make his face fatter? What do I want to do before we go in and start doing the rest of the highlighting? I'm going to touch up some of my yellow while you guys catch up. And if you have any questions, then please just go ahead and send them in the chat. I'm just sharpening the edge of my little yellow one here. Rounding him off a little bit better. And when you are painting like this, if you're wanting to speed things along, you can always get a hair dryer and dry it to kind of help speed it along some if you want to. Because for right now, when I'm looking at my silver, the silver's taking a little while to dry. I would like for it to dry faster, and it's just not doing that. So, but I'm going to let it dry like that. All right, you moved my sheet that was there. And then let's see. Very perfect. So then I'm going to use just a little, I'm going to wet my brush just a little bit and get most of the water out of it. And then I'm going to pick up some of my white that I had before and just roll my spotter in it and just put highlights on, a little bit of highlights on each one of the bulbs, just kind of a little layer of white across the top of here. And got a spot of water on there. I have to get that off before I drag it everywhere. And then just a little bit of white across the top of here. And you can see I picked up too much water that time, but that's okay. All you have to do then in that case is just roll up your paper towel, just sit it right in there and pick it up like that. All right. So always make sure you're rolling your brush on the paper towel flat, vertical like this, so that you're getting the excess water not only off of your bristles, but also off of the ferrule, because that's what will happen. It'll roll down your brush and plop on there like it just did to me just now. All right, so I'm gonna roll my spotter in the white paint and finish doing just some of these highlights on the bulbs along the top edge. Mama said she speeds hers up with the ceiling fan. It's a good idea. I know, Sue. Can you believe he's like you. He barely started painting not very long ago at all. You guys just have a natural talent. The first thing he painted, we just couldn't believe it. He painted a motorcycle and he did it, and we were like, what? We couldn't believe how much natural talent. Everybody in his family is talented, though. All right. And one thing I do like to do because I'm not perfect and I don't expect perfection. I want people to be creative and not be so concerned with being perfect. So I'm going to point out my mistakes. So you see how many times I got to get rid of this water for one thing because it's a yucky color. So it's really important to make sure you have clean water and that you do rinse your brush really, really good between each one and dry it sideways like I was saying. Because I don't know if you can see it or not. Zoop. So when I rinsed the brush and I went from yellow, I dipped it in white and I went from the yellow to the green. I didn't rinse the brush good enough. And you can see I still had some yellow on there. So now the green bulb has some yellow highlight on it. I'm fine with it, but that's why I just pointed it out because I'm not perfect. I don't expect anybody to be perfect. I want you to know everybody makes mistakes, and but that's why it's important to make sure that you rinse the brush real well.
It's a Picasso.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to make his little white line across his little nose. It is taking that silver forever to dry. I'm going to give it another paint, that color. Did it again with the water drop. There we go. We actually had carolers earlier. We were so thrilled. We used to do that with the kids years ago. I loved it. I'm not sure they did. They tolerated it, I think. Okay, I'm loving mine. He's adorable. How's everybody feeling about yours? Where's my drink? How's everybody feeling about your reindeers? All right, perfect. Okay, so we're going to do some highlighting that's going to kind of bring out his legs and highlight his ears. And then Nick is going to do the snow for us and the shading here and show you how to cover up the mistakes that I made on the canvas with white dots for the snow. Okay? All right, so I am going to use this brush here to shade the bottom parts of his ear. I put your blues over here that you like. All right, and we're just going to go in here and just make like a little half semicircle here on the bottom of his ear. That is a pretty color. Remember this color, everyone. This is called Bambi Brown. It's such a pretty color. Thank you. I think he's so cute. Now, does anyone need more time before we move on to doing the background? Look at these cute little ears. They're so adorable. All right, so down here we're going to do some shading because he has, and I'm going to use the same colors. I'm going to do it light at first just to see how much paint I want to use. So I'm mixing just kind of a a light brown here because he has like a fat arm, the kind of shoulder that kind of comes down like this and goes down like that. Kind of looks like a turkey leg, actually. It's kind of shaped like a turkey leg. That's good. I'm so impressed with myself that I thought of that analogy, as you can see. And then he has his other little turkey leg. It's actually kind of his, I guess, shoulder. Is his shoulder. And this is his fat little belly down here. And then his leg comes out like this. So I'm just kind of highlighting along the edge of here. All of these look like turkey legs now. There. I'm going to highlight along the outside of his head a little bit, mostly because I didn't go all the way over with his. There we go. Make that a little bit lighter color. Blend that all in together. I missed a little bit around his collar, so I'm just going back in and doing that. And this is the time for you guys to look back over yours and see if there's any places that the paint ended up being light, if you want to go back over, anything that you want to hide, any areas that the paint just didn't go in as well, or if you want to do more highlighting around the edges of his face. My mom has a Yorkie, and he's got a fat belly like this. She said this reminds her of this fat belly reminds her of his fat belly. All right, so we're almost done. I'm going to turn it over to Nick in just a minute. I'm just going to put one more layer or one more coat on the silver. Is everybody ready for the background and the snow? Okay, let me put just one more coat on the silver on because it is taking a while for it to dry and it's not quite thick enough. And again, like I said, if you want to go back later and add glitter to these bulbs or put dots on them or stars on them, please feel free to do that. And, oh, I forgot to put a dot for his eyes. I was going to put a little dot for his eyes, for his eyeball there. Let me see.
Use the silver. Use the silver.
Silver eyes? It's so thin, it doesn't show up very well. And I'm going to use I'm going to make a little dot, so I'm just going to use this. You want to use that plate that's under there for yours? Because I made a mess on this plate. Okay, I'm just going to use this little one to make his eye. I'm going to put his little white right there. He's going to look so confused, I think.
Cross-eyed?
He's not cross-eyed.
Oh, okay.
He's not cross-eyed. I make fun of my little guy here. Okay, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed up until now painting our baby reindeer. Nick is going to do the highlighting in the background for us and the snow here. And then is everybody caught up? And then I'm going to show you guys and tell you guys the dates of our upcoming free classes and paid classes. And thank you for joining us. I'll talk to you in just a few minutes. I switch places with you.
Switch places with me.
Okay, you got your blues?
Yep, I'm good. All right, what am I doing here? Was he dry?
He's dry except for the silver.
All right. Hey, everybody. How are you? Mama, Sue, everybody else? Hey, so I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to work with, there we go. I'm going to work with the bottom part here for the snow. And It's going to be kind of different for me tonight because I feel like I'm in a different mood. So I'm going to use a splash of white, and I'm going to use some of this bonnet blue, which I'm not really a fan of that name, but that's what it looks like. If you can see that, bonnet blue. And then I'm actually going to use a little bit of this nice little cobalt blue over here. Look how nice and dark that is. So nice. Hello, how are you? Okay. Um, paintbrush, 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 paintbrush.
Which one do you want?
Ah, here. Here's the
What's
paintbrush.
on his ear?
Okay. Just a little side note before we go back to this, I wanted to show you my adorable little abominable snowman that I really wanted to paint. This is something you can do with your kids. It is so simple, so quick and easy. If you look on our website, Paint and Chill, Facebook.com, you can see the time lapse of me doing this. It really took me about an hour, not even an hour to do this. I probably could do it faster if I wasn't goofing off. A lot of fun, really super cute, and great for father and son, um, mother daughter, daughter son. I don't know anybody really, but it's just a lot of fun, and I like doing him. What are we doing him again?
20th.
The
Sunday,
20th. So yeah, join me. I think I'm actually going to paint this one, and maybe I'll bring my youngest son with me, and we'll all paint it together for you guys online. So bring him back over here. And okay, so let's go to do the. We're gonna go back to here. How you guys doing? Okay, we're gonna go back to painting the base, the snow here. So tap a little bit in the water, and so for me, um, it's all about getting the paint to flow on the canvas. It's the wetter the better for me. It just flies on there and just I don't know. I like it just to smoothly go and blend, wispy almost. A little bit more water, and then just kind of blend it in there and pick out some of your colors. And then for my white, I'm going to do this here for my white. I'm going to grab some of this white right across here and just pull it almost like a snowbank someplace. There we go. Just make a little snowbank someplace here. A little more white here. A little more white there. And then we're going to come back to filling in those little creases. Make sure we get our edges. Edges over here. And then just let it flow. Let it go. Let it happen. Let it all just get on the canvas. And it just tells you where it wants to live. It just says, hi. Yeah, I want to be darker here. I want to be lighter here. And that's fine. Just let it do what it wants to do. These little spots right here. We're going to pull this down like so. Come back over here. Pull that up there. And then add just a little bit of. So at this point, I'm going to do some of the shadows. I'm going to do a little bit of the mixture of the bonnet blue, white, and just going to grab a dot of the cobalt blue just to give it some shadowing. And you can see on the canvas how it just darkens.
He knows much more about snow than I do. He's from New York. I haven't seen snow in so long.
So there we go. Just kind of pull that down. You can see that little spot right there. go. And then just gonna kind of dab over his little feeties. To make it look like it's snowing. I don't know how it's looking over there, but this is gonna kind of blend that all in there. There.
Good. Looks like snow piled all up. Very good.
Put some in here. Give him some shadows. Let's see, we'll do some shadowing. Let's see, let's do a little shadowing right here. So you see, I took the cobalt blue, mixed it in there, grabbed some white.
That's a great shadow color.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make some, because shadows are just, they just live. They just live someplace. I don't know where it's gonna live. It's just gonna live.
It'll tell you.
It tells me right there. It's like it's just kind of just goes.
Perfect.
And I just want there. There's this little shadow.
Ta-da!
And let's get some more white down in here because I wanted to kind of give an illusion of some depth and some highlights in here.
That's so cute.
And some little highlights here. I don't know.
And that's how you should do yours. Just play with it until it'll talk to you.
Just makes you feel happy when you look at it.
Yeah. It's a happy snow instead of happy tree.
Happy tree, happy snow. Now, I was going to wonder if you wanted me to do a little bit of something up in here.
It's up to you. I think it does need some darker color.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I think I'm going to go ahead and darken the clouds up here. Give it some darkness on the top. So what I'm going to do is reload some white. It's not a Billy Joel song. Bottle of white. Bottle. No, sorry.
That's wishful thinking.
So some white, some blue. Look how nice and dark that is. Let's just mix that in there, and just, get it wet. Just let it mix in there. And we're just gonna take this, and I don't even know where to start. So I think I'm gonna start with this little crease right here, and just go with it, and just tell me, hey, that's what I want it to look like. Just let it
If not, you can always paint over it.
just kind of like, hey, just a little bit more of that. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's talking to you now.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing because I know in my mind what I want it to look like, but I don't have an exact. And so I make it do what it wants to do. And then it just tells me, hey, you need some more white in there to go with that, just to blend it. And I can do that. And I can go a little more highlights with some of this nice little blues in here. And kind of just,
Or purple or gray.
just kind of, and you want it to look like winter clouds are always together.
Show us Florida people how that's done.
And just put a little more of this blue there. And a little bit more water. And then
Cool.
right?
Yeah, I love it. Looks like a cloudy sky. Like more snow is on the way.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Messed that up. But when you mess something up, it just go ahead and blend it.
There you go. More water.
More water, more water, more water. All right, everybody okay with that? I mean, that's really not complicated. It's not super complicated here. Um, like I said, you're just going to try to make things live where there was some mistakes over here. Shh, they weren't mistakes. They were happy little accidents. Right? There's no mistakes in painting. Always happy little accidents.
Let your painting speak to you.
Yes, happy little accidents. Can I get in trouble for saying that?
I don't think so. As long as you change the verbiage to your own.
But I'm just going to kind of blend that in there just a little bit. There's a little more water.
Perfect. I love him. He's so cute.
It's almost like the clouds are behind them also.
He's wondering how much more snow.
Okay, let's leave that alone. Right? You think I did enough damage to it?
I think so.
Am I overdoing it?
No. He's having to cover some of my mistakes from earlier.
He's just talking to me. He's talking to me now. He's saying, hey, go with it.
Perfect.
Almost like his whole body is shielding the rest of him from it.
He's being protected.
I had no idea I was going to do this earlier, guys. No idea. But there you go.
There you go.
All right. A little bit more water. With cobalt blue. All right, I'm getting carried away here. All right, I'm going to stop because I'm getting carried away.
He's in a snowstorm.
Yeah. All right.
He needs some snowflakes.
Snowflakes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get a little snowflake there, snowflake there, snowflake there, snowflake there, 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 there. I actually might tap a little bit of the blue color by accident. Oop, there's a happy little accident. Yeah, see? You never know what I can do. Just letting it go. You know, guys, it's really cool because I never painted before, never thought I could paint. I come from the rock and roll industry. I'm sound tech, lighting, production. I never thought I can do this. And then one day it just clicked, and you just find yourself talking to yourself in front of a camera, painting a reindeer. Yeah, you just go figure. Never know. Happy little accidents. Happy little accidents. Like someone over there was a happy little accident over there. All right, what do you think? Should I put some on his body?
I'll put a tiny bit on his body. Oh, maybe on the bulbs. If it's snowing, they're going to lay them on bulbs.
Beep and beep and beep, 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 beep. A little freckle, some on his shoulder, maybe. I don't want to get too carried away. Oh, something on that. Dry hit. I don't know. That's how you just make things your own. You go from something that was like this, that you do everything in dark blue and midnight colors almost, and then you go bam, totally different backdrop.
Yeah,
Almost looks like it's a wave coming around them, doesn't it?
it
Almost
does. There's
like,
a storm on the way.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about when we did the cardinal, which we're doing the 14th or 15th,
Right.
we did the sky like a gray color, he just had a different feel to him because cardinals mean something different to us. So we kind of did a grayer background for the snowstorm. So every snowstorm gets to be different. All right. Does anyone have any questions? They need anything else before we leave? I'm going to go over just real quickly some of the upcoming classes we hope you can join us for. Um,
I'm going to get out of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for my ring. It's so beautiful.
No.
So, just real quick, I hope you enjoyed the reindeer guy. We love him. He's just so sweet, and just make him your own later if you want to put some glow in the dark or glitter all over him, or glitter in just the snow, or change your bulb color or whatever. Or you can even write like your kids' names or on the bulbs. So I hope you enjoyed it tonight. And we are doing tomorrow night. We're doing the truck and tree, like I said, that anybody can do. Next week we are going to do the fat cardinal sitting on the fence. We're going to do the cardinal with the on the lamppost, which also would make an excellent gift if you can, if you want to put the name on there, and if you can put this any kind of name on there, whatever you want to put on there. We're going to be doing that. And on the 16th, we have a menorah that we're going to be doing. We have the Yeti coming up still. And all of these are paintings that we have an adorable moose coming up that he has light bulbs hanging from his antlers with all the names on it. Or if you want to do if you want to get together with your family and do a virtual party, if there's a painting that you'd like to do, we have hundreds of paintings that we can do. We have hundreds of designs we can do. Sue wants to do Elf on the Shelf, so we're going to wait till she's feeling better and she's able to do it, to join us to do the Elf on the Shelf. Other than that, thank you guys. We really appreciate your time tonight. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Mwah! This is me showing off my engagement ring, by the way.
Okay, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, guys.